the company is still an abstract concept, right? Because the company only changes when the people change. Because the company is a collective result of the actions of the people. It's not that the company changes and then the people change. The people have to change first. So, company protocol is understandable. Imagine you're sitting there with your own personal computer, and then you install a VPN, and you install ChatGPT, and it takes 5 minutes, and you now have access to all this data and all this information, all these processes. Anyone who's got that is going to beat you. They're going to beat you, right? It's like you got a little pencil, and they've got a giant fucking baseball bat, right? You're not going to win. You're not going to win anything. Because they've got the tools for the job. And if you don't have the right tools, you can't do the job. And they've got, it's like you're riding a bicycle and they're driving a Ferrari. Who's going to be first?
Mm.
They're going to be first because they've got it all. Now, they're not going to make all the right decisions because decisions are an individual process, but they're going to have the data to make the right decisions. And they're going to have more ideas. And they're going to win. I always use the analogy of the horse and the car. The horse got replaced by the car for rather obvious reasons. We're at that point in time again, where people need to integrate the technology into what they're doing. Otherwise, they'll get left behind. You're on the phone. No, you're writing a letter, and they're using email, okay?
Mm.
You're not going to win. The process is going to be so slow, going to be so far behind. They're going to do, how is it possible they can do more? Well, because they've got faster systems. Yeah. We need people with skills, but speed gets you to the front of the line. Who gets the prize? Who gets the trophy? Who gets the World Cup? The winners. What do you get if you're second? You know, you don't get anything, right? So, and in a business sense, it matters. And I care about my clients, and I care about their businesses, and I care about their futures, and I care about their families, and I want them not to get lost in what's coming. I want them to be aware of what's coming and to use it to their advantage. When you realize that the AI will teach your daughter now what the teacher in the school will teach your child in 10 years,
Mm.
you don't have to wait. Waiting is a thing of the past, right? Waiting is arcane, belongs in history somewhere. We don't have to wait anymore. It's all there laid out in front of us. And look at it this way. If you can reach out, if somebody in your position needs to reach out and contact X many new possibilities or threads or clients per week for opportunities, and you've only got the time right now to contact 5, or do 1 a day, do 5 a week. Somebody who's using the technology will have the opportunity to reach 50.
Mm.
And they'll have higher returns on that. And it won't replace the individual personality, but the faster car wins the race. it's incredibly wild. You still need that human spark of an idea in your own mind about what it is you want to
Mm-hmm.
do. But that's all you need. You don't need to build it anymore because the system will build it for you. All you need is the idea. As long as you have the idea and the ability to use the technology will create the things you need for you. In a technological world, in a business world. So I mean, there's things that it won't go to the gym for you, right? So it's not going to improve that aspect of a person's life. It's not going to cook for you. It's not going to
Mm-hmm.
improve that aspect of a person's life. Um, but it does, and business is systems, and the AI is systematic. So it fits into that world perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't fit into the my partner is angry with me. How am I going to emotionally deal with this problem? It doesn't solve that human element, but it solves the business element of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you can create limitless content, or you can summarize things to be very, very short and specific. It's going to get to the point where it's going to get to the point pretty soon. I imagine it might be there already. I don't know that where AI, you're going to tell the AI to book you a holiday. Find us a destination that's great for kids and where adults can do X, Y, Z that costs a certain amount and book it for us. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
It probably already exists. There's probably already an AI app that can, or, summarize the top destinations, blah, 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 blah. Give me a different perspective on it. Of course, it's programmed by people and people are biased, so it might be biased. It's always possible. Um, there's I always come back to the story about Twitter when Jack Dorsey was head of Twitter and the FBI and various other internal organizations were investigating Twitter. And they went to Twitter's offices to speak to people, and there was nobody there. The offices were empty. There were no people there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, people work there. But do you know that when Elon Musk took over Twitter, he fired 80% of the people? There's two reasons for that. Oh, and Twitter did not decrease or lose anything, right? There were no negative effects to Twitter for
Mm-hmm.
firing 80% of the people. So 80% of the people were completely in the technological based system. 80% of the people were completely superfluous, useless, had no real impact. And if you think about it, Twitter is just an application on a phone. At the end of the day, it's just an application on the phone. One person can build an application on the phone and run it. Why do you need thousands of people? So it's technologically complicated, but once you understand the technology, it's not complicated anymore. And Elon Musk, what Twitter's done might happen to every other business in the world. Might happen. Don't know. It's a big question mark, but
Mm-hmm.
I personally could see it happening. I could see 80% of jobs in every sector disappearing because the technology will take over. I met a pilot at the weekend, and the pilot told me that planes don't land themselves anymore. He said it's all computer systems. The pilots don't land the planes. He's an international pilot. He said the pilots don't land the planes. They don't do anything. Just sit there and look at the buttons and check overview everything. The pilots are there in case the electronics make a problem, but the pilots don't land the planes. And you know why? He told me why. This is the really important thing. He said they're not so accurate. The pilots are not as accurate as the computers.
Mm.
Right? When you tell a computer 10 o'clock, when you set your alarm for 10 or 8 or 6 or 5 or whenever you set your alarm for, you know, if you set your alarm for 5, do you know what time it goes off? 5. Right? Set your alarm for 5, it goes off at 5. If you tell yourself to wake up at 5, probably not going to happen, right? That's the power of the technology. Yeah. It does exactly what it's told to do, and it doesn't mean that it's absolutely perfect, of course. Technology fails all the time, but it's more accurate than people are. For some reason, pilots don't make planes take off, and pilots still let planes take off, and there's because the takeoff is more complex in terms of organization, and here's the theory, right? Here's the theory. This theory was put to me by the actual pilot himself. What he said was, I think that they let pilots fly the planes at takeoff so that the planes don't take off by themselves. Do you understand what he's saying? Do you understand what he's saying? He's saying that the plane would actually take off by itself. The plane would decide everything, and it would just take off by itself. And the people would not be ready. When you land, nobody has to get ready. You understand? You've been on a plane, and the pilot's going, could the passengers at the back please sit down? Could the passengers in the middle please move further forward? You know what I'm saying, right? The plane wouldn't wait for the people to put their bags up there and, you know, get themselves comfortable in their seat and stand up and sit down, stand up and sit down, stand up and sit down. And the plane's definitely not ready for the big fat person who can't actually get between the seats. All right. So, you know, the plane would just take off. You tell the plane to take off at 4:15. You know what time it takes off? 4:15, not 4:16, not 4:14. Right? People are not ready for that yet. Not ready. Yeah. And all of this, and it's really, really fascinating for me because I talked about this last week saying it's coming, and 2 days later, boom. And I'm not even looking for it. I didn't look for it. I don't go around every day looking for what's new. I don't. I just sort of kind of have this peripheral awareness of things going on in technology. Follow certain people and look at certain things, and I'm not even really looking for it. But what I'm going to do this summer is I'm going to sit down with my computers and with information about AI. And I think I'm going to go through every single AI system that exists. We're talking thousands. And see what is possible with them. Because understanding that is more important than anything else. Understanding how the technology works is more important than your job. Because it's the technology that will theoretically make the job easier or easier to do. It won't make it easier to handle on a personal level, but it'll give people power. Because technology is always power. It's power. You know, somebody in the past created the gun. What was that? That was power. What created the gun? Technology. It was a small handheld cannon, basically. They took the big concept of a cannon and made it smaller into something you could put in your hand. And what was that? That was a technology. What happened? It changed everything. People
Mm.
became super powerful when they had guns. Because fighting before, you had to be in the same space. Swords. You had to be in the same physical space. Guns meant you could be miles away from a person. I guess not at the beginning, but as the technology improved, you could be miles away, and still have an effect. And this is again how the technology is changing things. You don't need to be close to something to affect something. The power of social media to transform human habits is quite extreme. And if we want our children to be ready for the future, we have to be ready for the future first, because we won't be able to help them if we don't understand. Yeah? We won't be able to help them if we don't understand. We can't wait for school to teach children the things they will need, the skills they will need to survive the future. Because it's too slow and it's too late. The skills that children will need to survive the future are almost, and I'm talking about in a business world, I'm talking about in a work world, in a financial world, are almost all technological. Almost all. School will give you the socialization aspect, right? How to handle people, how to communicate with people, how to deal with people. It'll give you that, but it won't give you the daily skills that you're going to need to generate income in the future, because everything's going to be technological. And those who understand those processes are going to have advantages, and they're going to be able to see more. And as you learn more, you learn faster and you grow quicker. And only one person can get the job at the end of the day. A lot of people go for the interview, only one person gets the job. Who gets the job? The best person. We want our kids to be the best person for the job. That's why we got to make sure that they understand what's happening with this as well as us.